What's going on, guys? It's Patrick from Purple Park Studios, and this is actually a scene that I made a while ago in Blender for my band Ronnie on Saturn. It's part of a little music clip that we did. So I did make a video on the environment design and everything about this scene a little bit ago, but today we're going to be doing something different. We're actually going to be revisiting the color, and we're going to be doing that in Adobe Premiere using a really cool plugin called Dehancer. So as you guys can see, this scene here in Blender, these are just a green screen footage where I've keyed the green screen footage. I've brought in 2 clips into Blender, so everything's in 3D here, and then just a little environment. And when you look through the camera, you get some really cool angles, so it does end up looking a lot different once it's finally rendered with all the correct camera angles and everything. But let's go ahead and jump over into Adobe Premiere and check out Dehancer. Alright guys, I'm inside Adobe Premiere, and this is the footage we're going to be working with today. I have the playback resolution set to 1/4 just so things run a little bit smoother here inside of Adobe Premiere. And we are going to be using the plugin Dehancer today, so I'm going to link everything about Dehancer in the comments. You can check out their website. They have great instructions on how to download and install the plugin. And if anyone does decide that it's something that they want to use, you can actually use the code PURPLEPARK and get 10% off. So I've already got Dehancer installed here, so I'm just going to click it and drag it right onto my footage. And you'll see that this is the initial preset that it loads up with. And you can already see it's looking pretty cool. It has a bit of a grainy effect. It looks really neat. So let's scroll down here. And under here is the effects controls, and these are all the different settings that you can use in Dehancer to manipulate your color grading. So with each one of these, there's a drop down arrow and you get more settings to tweak. So we're going to go through some of the main ones here. And I just want to say I am not a color grading expert by any means. I mainly do environment design and lighting design, green screen compositing on the channel, but I do need to color grade. And just from playing around with this tool over the past week, it's definitely going to be a valuable asset because it's going to save me a lot of time. So let's go down and click under this film here. So the profile right here is pretty cool. These are all of the different essentially presets. You can see there is a ton of presets. So let's just go through a couple of these here. So that one's pretty cool. So this one here has got some really cool. This is really like gives me like almost like a sci-fi-ish type of vibe. But it's nice that it has this grainy effect because it makes it look more realistic in a sense. So guys, this is the preset that I'm going to go with here for the video, Kodak Vision 3 250D. And if we turn this off, Dehancer off, you'll see, this looks cool. It almost looks a little bit too clean, and then by adding this here, this just makes it look a bit more realistic. And like I said, you can tweak these settings. So let's just move on to some of the other settings here. So we jumped right to film, to the profiles here, but I do want to talk about this input up here real quick. So you can see there's a couple different sources here. If you have a custom camera source, you can actually go down here to choose camera, and then you can load the profiles, and then you'll have to restart the plugin. But it's cool that they have that option. Like I've said before, I am not a color grade expert, so there's probably a lot of settings in here that are going to be more valuable to someone who does color grading. But someone like me who doesn't know a ton about color grading, I think that it's very useful to have these presets and these options to tweak, and it could be a great way to learn. The one thing though I do wish about this film section here is I wish that there was like an arrow that you could just click to flip through so you don't have to go drop down each time. Maybe that option exists. I haven't found it in here, but it would be a little more convenient if there was like an arrow that I could just click to flip through. But either way, it's not bad for having all these great presets in here. This push-pull envelope here, turning it to the left looks like it brightens things up a bit, and then turning it to the right, it still keeps a really clean and bright looking color, just a little bit more of a darker look to it. So we'll just Control Z that back to 0 for the sake of the video. So one of the other things that I really like is this expand tab down here. So there's a black point and a white point, and it's pretty cool because you can actually expand your black point. So if I turn this up, you can see, that's a little bit harsh, but just demonstrating what it can do. And then if you turn it back the other way, it kind of flattens things out a bit, but it could be very valuable, especially if you use it in smaller increments here. Something like 9 is actually kind of cool. That might be a little too much though. Let's try something like 4. Yeah, that's kind of neat. And then you can do the same thing with the white point. Obviously that's very overexposed, but just for demonstration purposes, this is a really valuable tool that can really come in handy, especially if you have like, you know, different parts. And what's neat is, so it's actually not, the plugin's not on this clip here, which at the end what I'll do is just copy the plugin and paste the same settings onto this clip. But you can already see here how this doesn't look nearly as graded as this. Already you can tell the difference. This has much more of a mood and a vibe. And I'm not even a color grading pro or anything like that. Just from using this plugin, I'm already getting a much more professional look. So another cool thing that I like, I mean, vignette is, you know, kind of self-explanatory, and there's some other things on here like bloom and film grain. Obviously those are very self-explanatory. So the other thing I want to talk about here is I want to talk about this monitor section. So if you click this little drop down arrow for all of the color grading experts out there, you get this little box so you can check false color, IRE, 16 zones. So I'm honestly not 100% sure how to use this, but I'm sure a lot of people who do color grading could find this very useful. This one I do like here, this clipping indication. So it'll show you areas that are clipping. If I had to guess, I would say there's too much black in here, too much negative. So again, forgive me if I'm not using the correct terms, but that would be my guess. So I might want to go back up to my settings and mess with this black point. I do personally like how dark this looks in color. And then one of the other areas that I want to touch on is this output down here. So you can adjust the total impact of the effect. So if I want to dial back a little bit and have a little bit more of that original in there, I can do something like that, which that brings it a little closer to the original, I think. Let's see. Okay, no. So this is the original. So you can see it's a very different contrast. But if you did want to add just a little bit of that in, get maybe a cooler look, there you have it. And then all the way up at 100. So I really like this look here, though. This is really neat. So we can also, I want to try this other clip here. Some of you may remember this clip from actually the biggest video that I've had on this channel. This clip here, I was messing with some Dehancer settings on this, and I think it's worth checking out some of this just to see the variation. So you can see here we've got the clip, and then if I go ahead and drag Dehancer onto it, you can see already now it has a really cool look. So without and then with. And let's flip through a couple of these film profiles just because it's really fun, and we'll check a couple out and see the different moods. So that's closer to the original. That there is really cool. That's like a little bit retro of a look. So that's kind of neat there. That is pretty cool. That's really, I love those bright blues. That's pretty neat too. That's really cool. Again, there's one that brings it a little closer to the original. Some black and white. That there's really neat. I love how it brings out the greens. That one's pretty sweet as well. That one there's very sci-fi-ish. This one's really cool too. There's a lot of contrast in this. This doesn't get washed out. You can still see the detail back there, but this focus on the center here is really, really neat, and it makes it look like there's some toxicity in the air or something. It's pretty sweet. So for this video, guys, I'm going to leave this one here at the Fujifilm FP-100C. So you can see that these profiles I'm really liking. It's a really nice way to kind of glue everything together. It just gives it that look that like somebody spent a little more time on the color grading. So it's really, really nice to have that, especially for someone like me who is not a color grading pro. Having some really nice presets like this, will make a big difference, I think, in a lot of my future videos coming out, which I'm planning to record some more stuff soon, so I can't wait to use Dehancer with some of the new stuff that I'm working on. It is really cool. They also do have an iOS app, which is really sweet. As you can see here, this is a video that I filmed in the gym, and that's my brother there and myself, and then these here are a couple of the presets, which they have a ton of presets on their app, and it's going to come in really handy, especially if you're someone that does use a phone a lot to film things. Being able to kind of take that footage you film on a phone and then make it look like it was, you know, edited as a short reel after being filmed on like a nice camera is a really valuable tool to just enhance the quality of your content. So overall, guys, just rating this plugin, I think it's really great. I wish I knew a little bit more about some of this other stuff in here, but there's a ton of options, and I'm sure over time I'll be able to learn a little more. I just didn't want to, you know, explain something in the wrong way, something that I didn't know about. So some of the topics that I touched on today, I think, are going to be really good for people like myself that maybe don't know a ton about color grading but want to have a pro look on their videos. So I think that Dehancer is a really valuable plugin to have. So the cool thing about Dehancer, guys, is it's not just for Adobe Premiere. You can use it in After Effects. You can use it in DaVinci Resolve. So guys, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, don't forget to hit subscribe, click like, and leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.